Was it just another Paris night? Or did the world witness something unexplainably magnetic? Could one man's presence truly steal the heartbeat of an entire fashion capital? Don't scroll because what happened at the Celine show in October 2025 will make you question everything you thought you knew about fame, beauty, and the kind of silence that only awe can create. Like, comment, and subscribe if your heart skipped a beat when you saw him, because ours certainly did. Was it really Paris? Or was it a dream dressed in gold? On that crisp October evening in 2025, when the Eiffel Tower glowed like a heartbeat in the city of light, something extraordinary happened. Cameras clicked, hearts raced, and whispers turned into roars. The world's fashion elite gathered for Celine's highly anticipated show. But little did they know that the night would be long, not to the runway, not to the models, but to one man, Kimtaehyung, known to millions as BTS. It wasn't just an appearance, it was a phenomenon. People still ask, what was it about that night? Was it his aura, his elegance, his silence that spoke louder than the music? No one can quite describe it, but everyone who was there remembers one thing: the moment Taehyung arrived, Paris stopped breathing. Under the Parisian moonlight, Celine's grand venue shimmered with silver light, and the air itself seemed to tremble with anticipation. Fans had gathered since dawn, lining the streets, clutching banners, holding their breath. Their phones were ready, their voices trembling, their hearts united in one rhythm. When the black car finally pulled up, time seemed to slow. The door opened, and the world gasped. Kimtaehyung stepped out dressed in a tailored Celine ensemble. His every movement so fluid, it seemed choreographed by destiny itself. The cameras exploded with flashes. Reporters shouted his name, Taehyung, Taehyung, but he barely reacted. He didn't need to. He didn't have to perform. His presence was the performance. His eyes, soft yet piercing, held that quiet kind of confidence that no fame could teach. It was a look that said, I belong here, and yet I am beyond it. Even among Paris's most stylish, even among global icons and fashion royalty, he stood out not because of excess, but because of essence. The black suit shimmered faintly as the lights hit, paired with silver accents that caught the reflection of the chandeliers. He wore simplicity like it was the rarest jewel in the room. Social media erupted within seconds. #Kimtaehyung Celine trended in over 100 countries. Within minutes, videos of him walking into the show gathered millions of views. One fan tweeted, I thought I'd seen perfection before, but tonight Paris witnessed something divine. Another wrote, when he smiled, the whole place became art. Inside, the Celine show unfolded in a whirlwind of sound and shadow. Models glided down the runway, but every time, the camera found him in the audience. The crowd outside screamed louder. The tension was unreal, like a live performance happening in two worlds at once. One on the runway, one in the heart of every person watching. When Hedi Slimane, Celine's creative director, made his appearance, the subtle nod he shared with Taehyung did not go unnoticed. It was the kind of exchange that hinted at mutual respect, at artistic understanding beyond words. Many speculated that something greater was brewing, perhaps a collaboration, or something that would once again merge fashion and emotion in ways only Taehyung could inspire. As the show ended, Taehyung stood to applaud, and that simple act, that brief rise, the soft clap of his hands became a moment that was replayed endlessly online. Because it wasn't just applause, it was reverence, it was gratitude, it was beauty watching beauty. The Paris night didn't end there. Outside the venue, the streets were glowing with the reflection of 1,000 phone screens. Fans called his name in 100 languages. Some cried, others smiled through tears. He waved just once, and in that small motion, the crowd erupted like fireworks. Even from far away, it felt personal. His connection with people wasn't just celebrity. It was something human, unfiltered, electric. In interviews later, fashion critics struggled to describe it. He's not just a guest, one stylist said. He's a narrative in motion. Wherever he goes, he changes the atmosphere, another wrote in Vogue's digital review. Kimtaehyung doesn't walk into fashion shows. He transforms them into cinematic experiences. And perhaps that's what makes his presence unforgettable. He doesn't demand attention. He attracts it. He doesn't chase light. He becomes it. Even in silence, he tells stories about growth, about artistry, about vulnerability wrapped in grace. As the night deepened and Paris returned to its usual rhythm, people on the streets were still talking. A group of local fans near the Seine whispered, "Did you see him? He looked unreal," another murmured. It felt like time stopped. The world, for a moment, had shared one collective heartbeat. Back at his hotel, reports said Taehyung stood by the window for a while, gazing over the city that adored him. There were no flashing lights there, no screaming fans, just quiet Paris under the stars. Maybe he smiled. Maybe he smiled. Maybe he thought about how far he had come from Daegu to Paris. From dreams to global stages. From a boy with a guitar to a man who commands silence in a crowd of thousands. The photos from that night went viral, his soft expression under the golden lights, the sharp jaw unframed by the shadows, the effortless cool that has become his signature. Magazines called him Celine's muse of the moment, but fans knew he wasn't just a muse. He was the moment itself. And if you look closely, you can see something more in his eyes, a kind of longing. A quiet fire, something that makes you feel both inspired and undone. That's the thing about Taehyung. He makes beauty feel human. He turns fame into poetry. He makes silence sing. The next morning, major publications couldn't stop writing. Headlines read, "Kimtaehyung steals Paris. Celine's silent king." The night fashion fell in love with B, but all those words, as powerful as they were, still couldn't capture the truth of that night. Because what really happened at the Celine show wasn't just fashion, it was emotion dressed in fabric. Was it destiny that placed him there at that exact moment, in that exact light? Or was it the universe reminding us that beauty still exists, real and unmanufactured, in a world that moves too fast to notice? People who were there said they'll never forget it. They described the air shifting, the electricity in the silence, the strange sense of unity that filled the room. It was as if everyone, designers, models, fans, photographers, understood something unspoken. They were witnessing history, not in grand gestures, but in stillness. So here's the question for you. Yes, you're reading this right now. Did you feel it too? When you saw the photos, the clips, the moment he stepped out of that car, did your heart race a little faster? Did you pause your scroll, even for a second? If you did, then maybe you were part of it. Part of that invisible thread that connected millions that night. Because Kimtaehyung didn't just attend the Celine show, he became the show. He didn't just walk into Paris, he redefined it. And as the lights of the city flickered against the river, his image lingered not just in memory, but in emotion. So, before you go, tell me this: do you think magic still exists in this world? If your answer is yes, then maybe, just maybe, you saw it too. On that unforgettable night in Paris, when Kimtaehyung stole not just the spotlight, but the soul of the city itself. So, tell me, if you had been there standing under those lights, hearing the heartbeat of Paris itself, would you have looked away? Could you have? Because on October 5, 2025, Paris wasn't just the city of light, it was the city that fell in love all over again, with the one man who could make the impossible feel real. And that night, as the stars bowed over Celine, Kimtaehyung didn't just steal attention, he stole the moment, the memory, and maybe, just maybe, a piece of every heart that dared to watch. So, don't just scroll away. Comment below, what did you feel when you saw him that night? Did your breath catch, even for a second? Did your screen feel warmer, brighter, softer? Because maybe that's not just a trick of light. Maybe that's the magic of Kimtaehyung, the man who turned Paris into a poem. And if you believe that some moments are meant to be eternal, then stay right here, like, comment, and subscribe, because somewhere in the glow of that unforgettable night, his story is still unfolding, and the world is still watching.